Morning world, welcome to Saturday, February 26th, 2022. Just been around all the stock, make sure that's all happy, fed the birds. We're going to have a wander down now and see if we've got any Frogspawn. So, as you're probably aware, I took some lambs and Roger to Cirencester Market on Thursday. Part of me feels a bit guilty about Roger because he loaded up so beautifully by himself, but that's life. The lambs came back an average of 50 kilos. Now, for a Clin, even though it's crossed with a Texel, for a Clin lamb, that's pretty heavy. Alright, it's late in the year, but bearing in mind they've had no supplements, no extra feed, all they've had is grass. 50 kilo lambs, they all graded, and they came back at, I think it was £122 a piece. So, you know, they came back at a fair price. Roger, I think he only made 130 quid, which was a shame, because that kind of tells me that he didn't go as a breeding ram. Somebody bought him and he's going to go into kebabs. So yeah, I feel a bit guilty about that, but he had to go. We could not keep him. No one else locally wanted a ram, because I'd have happily swapped him with somebody else, but nobody else wanted a ram. And because he was playful, shall we say, we've got footpaths all over the farm here. We've only got one field that doesn't have a footpath. There was a risk, no matter how small or slight some people might think it was, there was a risk that he could have charged a walker, hurt somebody. Even though it wasn't like a maliciously, I want to hurt you type of thing, he could have hurt somebody. So I couldn't take the risk. He had to go. So if nobody locally wanted him as a breeding ram, I mean, it's a wrong time of year to sell a breeding ram, but if nobody locally wanted him, I couldn't shut him off somewhere by himself all year. Couldn't shut him out the fields. So he had to go to market. So yeah, a lot of people will be upset about that, but that's just the way it is. This day and age, where there's blame, there's a claim. We just can't take the risk. Anyway, when I cut the hedges over to the farm the other day, the ditch at the back of the ox house was full of Frogspawn. The same Frogspawn, or the source of the Frogspawn, that I came to stock our own pond that I dug a couple of years ago. So I thought I'd come down and see if we've got any, because I'm kind of hoping we do. Anything in there? No, I put this cluster of branches and twigs in there so they'd have something to hatch eggs to. Nothing. Nothing. No, it doesn't look like any of my little froggies have come back to spawn. Right, okay, well that's a shame. I was really hoping that we would have some of our own, but all is not lost. I will just simply recover from the massive clusters of spawn through the farm. I will simply just recover some more from over there and try again. So I mean, this is a fairly new pond. We dug this out, this is its second year, but the first set of tadpoles, those that survived, the water beetles and everything else, we know a load of them grew legs and walked out of here. It's just that, you know, perfect habitat for them. They just haven't come back. Do frogs breed in the first season? Do they miss a season? Have I missed a trick here? So, right, okay. No Frogspawn. Yet. I'm actually quite disappointed about that, because bearing in mind we did that, we've got plenty of space for them. We even added to the stump pile and log pile, so there's plenty of habitat for them. I really thought we'd have a few. Oh well. I don't know if the camera's going to pick them up. There's 4 roe deer out there. You can see the buck silhouetted next to the hedge up there. And there's 3 females out in the field, all looking at me. They spend the night in here. And they out there. I don't mind a few, as long as I don't get too many. The deer like to make holes in hedges. Ask the funky farmer. I didn't want to find that. The electric wire strand was loose. When I came through the gate down there, it was slack. I thought, what's going on there then? So I followed it all the way back up and put it back through the insulators and came to this. I could have done without that. That was a nice little field maple. He's still got some life left in him. I'm sure I saw him in leaf last year. Well, Storm Eunice or Storm Frederick, one or the other, has done for him. So it's my tree because it's on this side of the stream. So I'm going to have to clear it up and repair the fence. At the moment that is kind of sheep proof. I don't think I'll go through there. Just that I haven't got time today. That's been down a couple of days. Looking at the sheep activity, they've been having the ivy off of it. What a shame. So, yeah, they've been busy around here. Right, well, that's another job. Clear that up. I'll get that out of the way. If it'll come, yeah. Hang on, I need to pull this tight a minute. Right. Just so nothing gets wrapped up in it. Oh. Even when you're not looking for a job, they have this wonderful way of just finding you. Right, okay. That's probably going to have to wait till next week. Like I say, I think it's sheep proof. They haven't tried to get out yet. They got plenty of grub out for the few that's out here. Right. The thing is, I can't even get the tree team to do it Monday or Tuesday because they're busy on call out. Mike has got on my PPE. Can't really shoot a video of a professional tree man cutting that up in his overalls, can I? Right, okay, that'll keep. Someone's in trouble. Don't think it's me. So if you haven't already gathered by now, I will tell you, yes, we are keeping the breeding sheep, for at least for now. Abby and Henry really want to do some work with the sheep, to the point where Henry actually went on a lambing course with our local vets on Friday. Abby did the course as well, not that she really needs it, but she did the course too. And like she said, you're always going to take away something. If you do a course on whatever, I could do a course on tree work or whatever else, I'm always going to take away something from a bit of training. So Abby and Henry did their lambing course yesterday at Tyndale Vets. Although she works there, even Henry said he would highly recommend it if you want to keep a few sheep. If you live locally around here, then Tyndale Vets, our local vets, do a lambing course. Your local livestock vet might do the same thing. Just the experience, it could be a nice idea maybe to book yourself on a course, find out what it's all about before you try it for real. Anyway, we're keeping the sheep, which means I've got to make a few concessions and I've got to do a few bits and bobs to hopefully help them out, which will include a bit of yard space for Abby to do some work on them, not necessarily undercover in the shed, but out here. So I think the idea is we're gonna, sometime in the year, fence off bits of this yard, possibly from those two posts up there straight out to the gate there, and have this, split this in two, and have a yard that we can split and handle and muck about with sheep. That's the plan. But for the time being, we've put hay in the yard here so they're not puddling about in muck. So the hay is in here, the mineral block, still got some of that left in here, and we have been feeding them out there. But I think what we're going to try and do is I'm going to move that trailer, move the quickie bucket, move that old feed on that, and actually increase this bit of yard space a bit more so we can put those two feed racks up in here. That might be a job for today, it might not be. I said, don't worry about the footpath. It says you just walk all over the field with your dog wherever you want. I know it's not a lead, but it must be nice to be privileged that you can just go and wander wherever you like over someone else's land, not bother asking, just take your dog and wander wherever you want. What a nice feeling. Not so much for us, because that's just taking the piss. See, I knock on again with footpaths. I understand the government have taken off the deadline of the ramblers reopening old ancient footpaths that they haven't found yet. The thing is, with the landowner, you're walking across their land, you're walking across someone's land, they've bought and paid for it or have been lucky to inherit it. Oh yeah, buy and pay for mine. You're uninvited. You're not invited. We don't actually want you walking across our land, especially with dogs, because you're bringing contamination, and do you know what? It's not yours. You didn't pay for it. You've got no financial or work or life interest in that land at all, apart from your freedom to walk it with your dog. You're not invited. But somebody in Whitehall years ago decided it was a good idea to give folks the God-given right to walk across private land with no recourse. Just if that's what you'll do, you can carry on and do it. So they told us farmers that we have to maintain a minimum of 3 feet wide footpath for folks to walk on. Well, I've done that because my footpath is actually wider than that. But do they walk on that path? No. Do they pick up behind their dog? Well, alright, some do. But many don't. And there's just no bloody respect. That's what it boils down to. Someone gave you the right to walk across my land uninvited, whenever you want, and in return you give nothing. Yeah, I'll get off my soapbox in 10 minutes. It's a bit heavy to pick up by yourself. And at the end of the day, why would you if you've got one of these? Really? That's it, they're way up there. There's a go to the top yard today because I need to repair it. We'll get the welder out again. We were never really that fond of this feeder. Compared to the rain bell feeder, as in the circular rain bell feeder, seem to get a lot more waste in this one. I've also had the occasional eye problem with this, so I'll keep it because if I need a rack, I've got a rack, but yeah, it was my dad's. He broke it, I repaired it, then I broke it, I need to repair it again. Obviously broke the gate. I know. Oh. I got a power source in there so I can bring the welder out to here. That's why it's there. You might be wondering what that is. I'll tell you in a minute. So this chap with his bowed cutting blade, I'm sure most of you already guessed what it is, fits on the skid steer. This machine was never quite big enough for it. It would do smaller trees, but this thing is designed to undercut roots on trees. That would be too big. It wouldn't lift that. But that little row in there, this would, if I could get both sides, the idea is to get to both sides of the tree if you can, I can actually undercut with that blade and a bit of careful pedal work, and we used to put some padding around that as well, just to stop it chafing on there. And we have lifted hundreds of trees with that. Hundreds. Years ago I bought a tree nursery. Well, I bought all the stock out of a tree nursery, and we had to move it all, and there was no way we could dig it all by hand, and that was the cheapest option at the time. So, and it's probably worth now what I gave for it then, which I think was about 400 quid. So yeah, don't use it now. So if somebody out there's got a little tree nursery who wants to lift some stuff and has got a skid steer, although you could put any brackets you want on the back of it, 400 quid. So I won't take any less for it because I just assume keep it as a memento. Right, so that's what that is. It is a undercutter, so for cutting root balls on trees or shrubs, anything like that, you can literally drive up with a machine, dive underneath it and cut out a plant. Right, what was next? Trailer? Where am I going to put it? I want it somewhere that's not in my way. So I've got nowhere to put it, because wherever I put it, it's in my way. Brenda up. There it is. It is a, what does that say on there? 750 kilo gross, I presume that is, and 250 kilo, I'm presuming that's what it weighs. So basically, carry half a ton. Make me a sensible offer, you can have it. I didn't film that bit. I didn't think I would listen to the heavy breathing and the cutting. It's up there out the way. Ish. Okay, I reckon now if I fetch the deucing over, I can make a bit more yard space. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay, and with just a little bit of Windows magic, it's done. Okay, I cheated. I didn't really think you want me to see me doing the deucing again today. You've had enough of that last week. So all I've done is make enough space in the yard hard surface that we can now bring those feed troughs in. This bale can be moved up further in, which means we can then shut that. So I came out earlier because I bought some eggs in, picked up from the poultry pen. And I happened to glance across there and then suddenly remember, I bought a bag of bulbs last year and they're starting to chit and I haven't planted them. So this afternoon's portion of the video might remind a few folks of one I made a couple of years ago when I planted some daffodil bulbs, where I'd bought some bulbs at a trade show and said to my wife, oh, I could do with a bulb planter, and she bought me one of these poxy little, it's like a little hole punch dibber type thing. Go on, in you go, in you go. No, Pepper, in there, get her. And I kind of said to her, not really what I was thinking of. I was thinking of something a bit more substantial than that. And then I remembered, I've got the ideal machine, tool for planting bulbs. Ideal. It's big, it's orange, begins with a D, although if it was painted white and red it would be a bobcat, but yeah, the deucing. Look, I've even got me bulb planting bucket on. It's almost like I knew. Well, I've not done anything more with the yard down there for the sheep, because as far as I'm concerned, I've done my bit. Abby can carry on and do the rest of it herself now. Might have to move the big bale feeder forward maybe, but yeah, we'll see. So tomorrow, Abby, Henry and myself are going over to the farm. I'm taking the tractor and my big 25-foot Marshall trailer. Henry's taking my Defender transport trailer and the skid steer, and we're going to bring back 15 or 20 or something bales, and then those two are going to go on with vaccinating the ewes. So it is time to get the ewes vaccinated with we're using Heptivac P, which is a vaccine. It's currently in my fridge, staying nice and cold. It's got to be kept below 8 degrees, I guess. So yeah, so it's going to be a full day again tomorrow of stuff, baling and sheeping. Look, Joanne. I've got a fair bit of work to do out here yet, so there's no point in tidying up just yet, because well, I got to drive over it again a few times. least a 4-foot gap there. So I'll mark that. And then we'll have some there. We'll have a little gap. We'll have some there. There. That'll do. I have to go and fetch my rake back from up in the top shed, which I put away this morning, because I can just rake that back over. Right, let's go get some bulbs. Strictly speaking, these should have been planted 4 months ago. Some of them may not actually come to much this year, but they're still going to do better in the ground than they are if I leave them in that bag. There's a question. Does planting daffodil bulbs at this time of year make me a narcissist? Comments in the box below. Dogs coming out digging them up again. Right, we used to have a load all on that bank over there, so we'll go and put some more in there because we've lost most of them. Step one, lift the turf up a bit. Step two, throw some bulbs in. 3 is obviously, that's, put them facing the right way up. Once that's done, ooh, drop the turf back on top of it again. So chances are a lot of these won't make the end of the year. We have a lot of mice in this bank, and if the mice don't eat them, it will be the dogs digging them up trying to get to the mice.